everyone, and welcome back to another week here at Just Gay Stuff Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Jess.
Ooh, I like our little sing-songy bits going on.
It's delirious. It's delirious. How tired are you?
Tired is an understatement.
Are you dead or alive?
Limbo.
It's been the busiest week. What's limbo look like?
Functioning, but not mentally here.
Is it like that funky in-between, like from that movie, The Lovely Bones?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's like the...
That got dark really quickly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, everyone.
Speaking of dark, no, I'm just kidding. Looking at this is our 71st episode. Can you believe that?
This is light and fluffy. This is not dark. 71, that feels so unreal. I can't believe we're up to episodes in the 70s. I think we've said this so many times, but I don't know what we expected when we started this.
I don't think we expected anything too much. I think we just went, we've got a passion for doing this. This is a topic we both know about because we live and breathe it every day.
Queer. But also just the fact that we're in episodes in the 70s feels so surreal, which brings me to an exciting point.
Ooh, girl, tell us.
So, everyone, if you are an avid listener of podcasts or online content, you would know that a lot of shows suddenly disappear behind a paywall.
How annoying is that?
It is very annoying. But the reason for this is because for all intensive purposes, creating things, no matter what they are, if you are a creative, is a costly experience. It's a costly exercise to create stuff.
It is.
And so a few people have said to us over the past few months, I really hope that you guys don't disappear behind the paywall or start a subscription because that would really suck. And the short response to that, everybody, is we have absolutely zero desire to charge anybody to listen to any of our stuff. We will never ask anyone to pay to listen to Just Gay Stuff Podcast.
No.
We 100% believe that the conversations we're having on this podcast and the voices that we're trying to amplify should be 100% accessible to anyone and everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And not everyone can afford,
especially
money.
At the moment.
I'm the same way sometimes if I see like something come up, especially now on a lot of the streaming services like Netflix and Stan and that, I'm kind of like, oh, not this. I'd rather watch the ads, even though I get annoyed with the ads.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't have money to spend on on that stuff.
In saying that, the other side of the coin is that people have also asked us that if they did want to donate to what we're doing and donate to Just Gay Stuff Podcast, is there a way? Yes, there is a way. The short answer is yes. So we have had a Patreon for quite a while, which if you signed up to that back in the day, you signed up for free. And that was literally just a service where we were emailing every week just to say, hey guys, there's an episode out.
This is what's out, yeah.
Yeah, you would get reminders about episodes. But since then, and since people have asked us if there is a way to donate, we have added 2 tiers of donations. So if you would like to donate towards us making this podcast for everyone to enjoy, we would really, really appreciate that. I don't know how much we have really led on about what goes on behind the scenes of running a podcast.
I think we've touched on it a tiny bit, but I think it's a lot harder now, especially with me having a full-time job that is external to the home.
Yeah, it's not work from home anymore.
It's not work from home anymore, so it makes it very difficult. So we often record after a full day's work, and like right now I'm in the midst of probably one of the busiest weeks of my life at work.
So obviously everyone's got a life and full-time work takes precedence. We do this in our extra time.
Yeah.
It does take up a lot of extra hours in our day and in our week. So if you do want to make any sort of donation towards keeping us running, keeping us being able to like afford subscriptions to Zoom for our guests and things like that, honestly, we would beyond appreciate that.
Yeah, we would greatly appreciate it. So basically there are currently 2 tiers. There's a $5 a month or a $10 a month, which breaks down to $1.25 per week or $2.50 per week.
Which does seem cheap, and it is very cheap.
It is very cheap, yeah.
But we do know that things are tough at the moment. Everybody is having a tough time. So this is absolutely no obligation. We are simply just letting everybody know that if you did want to donate towards Just Gay Stuff Podcast and you do have the means to do so, there are a couple of things that you can do. And that's only because people have asked us. So
people have asked, and like we've said, it's such a time-consuming thing, but these stories are so important. So every week we just put ourselves back in there and keep going. So a few dollars might help us along the way.
It definitely would. I definitely would. So we would greatly appreciate that. And we we will post the Patreon link if you do want to join, or if you want to change your subscription from free to the donation. That would be, awesome, guys. Awesome.
Yeah, we'll put it in our socials as well as our episode
Yeah,
notes.
totally. All right, so let's get on to this week's episode 71.
Crazy.
Oh my God, I still can't believe I'm saying episodes in the 70s. It doesn't feel real.
I feel like I'm in my 70s.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Well, this week to celebrate our 71st episode, because we missed out on celebrating 69.
We did. We were going to do a special episode for 69, but we didn't get there because we had to cram so much in for Comedy Fest.
Yeah, for Briz Comedy Fest. So
Which we were awesome, feel so appreciative to
grateful.
be not partnered with, because they didn't partner with us.
Yet.
But we got to interview a fair
Next year.
few people on the festival lineup, which was amazing.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. But because of that, we're going to do it kind of, I guess, a fun-ish one.
Yeah, it's fun.
A fun one. So we're doing another round. I guess this is round 2 of embarrassing stories.
So many good stories coming your way.
Woohoo, I know. Let's go.
Okay, so because I knew that we were doing this episode, I wanted to start off with a story of my own that is quite embarrassing.
I want you to go for it. This is funny because we kind of half spoke about this last night and you're like, whoop, this unlocked a memory.
I was going to tell Lauren this story last night, and then I thought, no, we're doing this episode, so I'm going to save it. So I was writing in my notes in my phone.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Tell it to me.
So earlier in the week, my best friend sent me this reel on Instagram that literally unlocked a core memory that I had hidden deep in my brain. And the reel was basically, it said, for a generation that grew up on prank phone calls, it's ironic that we're trolled by scam calls every day. And I thought that was hilarious because we literally grew up prank calling people. Did you?
Yes, we did. I think that was our pastime growing up in the 90s.
Yeah, it must be a generational thing.
I think it definitely is a generational thing. And because we are just when the internet really was starting to take off,
Yeah.
and Facebook and MySpace, not even Facebook. I didn't get Facebook till I was out of school.
Yeah,
but
same.
like MySpace or MSN.
MySpace, MSN, AOL.
AOL, so all that stuff. So other than that, yeah, you had the prank call
Yeah.
stuff to entertain yourself, really. Also, just funny, when you were reading that line about ironic trolled by scam calls every day, I'm like, every 90s kid just went, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, I know, right? So if you never did prank calls as a kid, or you weren't that generation, or you were the generation before and you're thinking, oh my God, what an idiot. It was so much fun. You would literally go into your phone settings and put your caller ID on hide.
Also, these are old school phones. These aren't iPhones.
But even on iPhones, you can do this, just saying. And then you would just call your friends and say dumb shit. Not those stupid jokes is your refrigerator on and you should go and catch it. No. Do you know what our go-to was?
What?
I would put on a British accent and ask if Ashley was on the other end of
All
the
right,
line.
go on then.
Hello, is Ashley there? And then they would be like, oh no, I think you have the wrong number. And we'd be like, oh, okay, sorry. And that's how it would
That's
go.
so bad.
My friends and I did this all the time. And honestly, this next story is so fucking cringy and dumb.
Okay.
But I have
please-
to set the scene.
I need to know.
Did you go to blue light discos growing up? Did you have those?
Is blue light discos just underage discos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Underage discos. The blue light disco was put on by the local PCYC for certain aged kids.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there were age restrictions older than, say, when you were 18 you couldn't go, but I think it must have been I don't know, 11 to 16 or something like that.
I think we had those, but I don't think I ever went to a really young one. I just went to one that I know was run by the local club, and it was one night a year for all the under 18-year-olds.
One night a year?
Yeah.
Ours was first Friday of every month.
Oh, nah, we weren't that cool.
Nah, ours was first Friday every month, and we started going when we were probably 11 or 12.
What?
Yeah, because it was underage. We started in primary school.
You got your partying out early.
Yeah. So there was a group of us that would always go, and our friend's mum had a big car. So she would do the rounds. She'd pick us all up and take 6 of us kids to the local PCYC. But so we would go to that pretty often. But then when we transitioned from primary school to high school, our friend with the mum who would take us went to a different high school than the rest of us.
Oh, that's annoying.
So then we would kind of catch up at the blue light.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went to our first blue light being in high school, and our friend's mum picked us up, did the rounds, and she had a new friend in the car because she was in
She
grade
went to a
8.
different
She was
school,
in a different
yeah.
school. And I feel looking back, I feel like such a baby lesbian. every time there was a new girl introduced to the group, I was like, oh, how can I impress her?
Oh my God.
And she was cute, and I wasn't like, I don't know. I wasn't putting anything out there because, bearing in mind, at this point, I was probably like 13. I knew nothing of the world. I wasn't
You weren't out.
I wasn't pursuing anybody, but it was like one of those things where you just like, oh, I want to impress this new person. Anyway, I don't know if you used to do this kind of shit, but every time we met a new person, you'd just get their phone number.
No, that's
You didn't just
weird.
ask for a phone number?
No.
I don't know why. I feel
Weirdos.
like my friendship group was clearly weirder than I thought. So anyway, she must have given us her number because I had it. And
Oh.
Yeah. And later in the month, I was sleeping over at my best friend's house and we decided we were going to prank call this girl.
Because you were like, I know, let's try and impress this girl. I'm going to prank call her.
She was not impressed anyway.
I can believe that.
I don't even know why we were trying to prank call her. I think maybe we'd already prank called everyone else in my phone and then we got up to her. I don't remember. So we call her and essentially we do the lines from the Scream movies.
Jesus.
So like,
This is ironic considering you just watched a bunch of
I
Scream
know.
movies.
If anyone hasn't seen the Scream movies, it's literally like you prank call the person, they're like, hello, and you're like, hello. And they go, who is this? And you go, who is this? And it's like this back and forth for like 5 minutes. Anyway, she knew it was us. We weren't.
Did you?
Yeah, she knew it was us. I have no idea how she knew, but we clearly weren't elusive. We weren't fooling anybody. 40 minutes later, we're still on the phone call and my phone ran out of like $50 credit.
Jeez.
Because this is in the prepaid era.
Yeah, oh my God.
So by the time the call had ended, I shit you know, it was like 3 a.m. and I had no credit left on my phone. And it was the cringiest thing. And I feel like this girl really knew what she was doing because she just kept us on the line and she made me spend all of my phone credit on a prank call. So I think really she pranked us. What a cringy moment. Do you think differently of me now?
I don't, but I'm like, fair.
You're like, oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Lots because you're dating me.
Yeah, I'm like, how much time you got?
No, okay, I don't know if this is embarrassing, but this same story kind of reminds me.
I unlocked a cool memory
You
for you.
did. It kind of reminds me of a story. It's not my story. Well, I'm a part of the story. It's my best friend's story. She was seeing this guy at school. And I don't know if I've told this story before on the podcast or not. She was seeing this guy at school and I had recently just moved to the same school as her. So I think we're in year 9. So same age group ish. And she was like, oh, come with me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. And if people know me in person and like know me, I hate scary movies. Like there's so many times.
Oh, you have told this.
Have I?
He tried to scare you in the middle of a scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell this on the podcast already? Oh, never mind then. Just cut that part out. All right. Well, I'm just going to
Just leave that alone.
leave that one. Okay. I'm going to jump into our listener stories.
Do it.
'cause I think people forget that every time we tell these stories, we often share one of our own and then we go straight to like our inbox stories.
Oh, yeah. And like, I'm here for everyone's entertainment, but I really want you to tell the next story because I'm
Yeah.
actually quite embarrassed by my cringy moment.
Oh, okay. She needs a moment. I need to just fill her with someone else's embarrassing stories.
Roll on.
Hello, Jess and Lauren. This is a story from me as one of your straight listeners.
Oh, we don't
Ooh.
mind. Send in all your straight stories as long as they're embarrassing.
I love it. I love that a straight listener has allyship to tell their embarrassing story on a queer podcast.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But it has a queer undertone, so I thought it would be perfect to write in.
It is perfect. All of the stories are perfect. We just want to amplify the voices. What did we
Yeah.
say?
All right. A bit about me that is crucial to this story. I'm a lifesaver at a local surf club. I had been seeing this girl for maybe only a couple of weeks at this stage and had organised to go out on a date with her after my shift ended one day. So she's at the club and I'm getting ready to go when a call goes out. Oh, I'm scared already. I leave her inside and run off to do my thing. Oh, I don't know why I said it like that.
I don't know why
Run
I
off
said
to
it
do
like
my
that.
thing.
I just ran off to save a life. Woo!
I ended up having to pull this older guy out of the water and it was a bit of a scary situation.
Eek.
The guy wasn't breathing and I had to perform CPR.
Double eek.
That is a double eek. The ambulance was called and after 10 minutes they were there and had taken him away. I don't know how many people have had to perform CPR in a high pressure situation, but after you do it, you're just hoping for a good result. Emotionally and physically, you are really drained. That's true. I had to do a CPR course once.
Did you?
Yeah. I think I was helping out with doing like support work at one stage or disability and you had to do your first aid, and for first aid you had to do your CPR. That hurts.
Yeah.
Like watching all those Grey's Anatomy. Yeah.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
It's a true thing. And watching all those Grey's Anatomy things where they like switch out, they have to. You get fucking tired doing
It's
that.
fatiguing. Yeah.
It's so fatiguing.
So you can relate.
I can relate. So with this in mind, I get back up to the club and change out of my wet clothes and go off with my date, who I had learned over dinner had seen the whole shebang of what went on. Was she impressed? She then, with the straightest face, asked me if I was sure I liked her, considering I was bi or gay or whatever. What? Not that I was offended that she asked, but I was wondering where she got that information. She then went on to say how she just figured I must have been gay or bi or something because she saw me kissing the guy who was drowning in the water. I then had to explain to her exactly what CPR involved and that I wasn't attracted to the person. I was trying to save his life. She didn't buy it at all and thought I was gay for drowned men.
That is...
I was not prepared for the ending. I wasn't prepared.
I'm broken. How old was she? Has she never learned CPR in high school? I feel like we all had to learn it at one point and we all know about like the nose breathing thing.
My brain is like computing. I'm like,
Cannot
compute this person's like. Also, she met this dude at a surf life-saving club. So what?
I know, right? All right, next story. This is a Valentine's Day nightmare.
Aren't they all?
I live in
No, I'm just kidding. That was very morbid.
I live in northwest Queensland, so you can imagine it's hot here in February.
Yeah, or rainy.
Or rainy. Yes, late afternoon, stormy. I've never really been one for celebrating Valentine's Day, probably because I spent most of them in the closet pining over straight girls that wouldn't look twice at me if they fell over me in the street.
Don't fall for the straight girls.
Never did. Anyway.
Neither.
But a few years ago, that changed when I got my first ever girlfriend.
Cute.
Admittedly, I have to say, I do think I was love bombing her, but honestly, I was just so excited to have my first girlfriend and a Valentine's Day date.
Cute.
I had set out to be the most romantic that I could. I bought my date at the time a card, a bunch of flowers, a box of chocolates, and made us a dinner reservation for that evening.
Oh, no.
When I went to pick her up, I was so excited that I had grabbed the flowers and the card, but accidentally left the box of chocolates on the seat. Did I mention it was hot?
Not in Sunny
Do you see where this is going?
Yeah. The minute you said chocolates and things on the seat, I was like, here we go.
I turn up at the door. She runs out and swings her arm around me, knocking the flowers from my hand, but not before a single thorn that was left on the rose stem scratched the fuck out of her arm.
Oh, no.
It wasn't deep, but it did bleed a little, which meant we went inside her house to get a Band-Aid. We ended up joking about it being a little setback, but not to worry, our dinner was going to be amazing. I race her to the car and say something stupid like, last one in actually has to pay for dinner, to which we both take off racing to get into the car first.
Oh, no.
I get in the driver's seat, and as my date lands in the passenger seat, she doesn't see the chocolates that I'd accidentally left there.
I knew that was coming.
Squish. They were melted and had smeared all over the back of her jeans. Not only did I cut my date with a rose, but she now also looked like she'd shit her pants and shit the front seat of my car.
Oh, no.
Honestly, it was the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me, and probably even more embarrassing for my date.
And I'm sure there wasn't a second date after that one.
Well, I'm like, I want to know what happened after.
Yeah.
Did she go in and change and you actually went to dinner?
Unless she just thought it was like a super cute moment that you guys laugh about now and you guys are a cute
Are you
couple.
still strong?
Yeah, still going strong.
Or was that it?
That's an open-ended conversation.
I need a follow-up.
Yeah, where's the follow-up?
I need a follow-up.
Write into us again. We want to know what happened.
Let's just speculate what happened, like a fan fiction moment.
Fan fiction moment, I must say that they laughed it off, or you were super romantic and grabbed some of the chocolate shit and made you look like you shit yourself too.
I didn't know where you were going with that. I thought you were going to say like lick it off her butt.
No.
Okay.
That's for a different episode. That's for when we get into the kinks.
Kinks part 1.
Kinks part 1. All right. Next one.
Moving on from that.
Did we mention we're delirious?
I think everyone can tell at this point.
Dear Lauren and Jess, I can't believe I'm about to tell you the most embarrassing thing I have ever done or said to a love interest. Ooh, dun dun dun. I was at a friend's 21st birthday party, and it was one of those parties where you still see a lot of people that you went to high school with because you haven't drifted too far apart yet.
I can relate.
Yeah. The guy throwing the party I had crushed on for years, but as a gay male in the closet through high school, I had never said anything for the whole time. But now being out of school, I had come to terms more with my sexuality and had less issue with putting my feelings forward. I had always suspected this guy to also be gay, but had never had any clarity on that. So with some liquid courage, it's always liquid courage.
It's always liquid courage.
Under my belt at this party with a bunch of my friends and me being finally out of the closet, I decided to go for it.
Go for it. Do it.
I chatted him up with some great pickup lines, told him I'd liked him throughout high school and things were going really well. So well, in fact, he was dragging me upstairs to his bedroom. Ooh. When we opened the door, another couple seemed to already be occupying his bedroom, which ruled us out of there. So he pulled me into the room next door. Oh no, I'm scared. It was dark but felt noticeably bigger. I asked him, "Is this your parents' room?" He said yes, but then covered my mouth with a kiss and said, "Stop talking." That was a mistake. All I could think of at that point was that we were in his parents' bedroom. We were rolling around on the bed and he pinned me to the pillow and in the quickest of motions pulled off my jeans, to which I most cringingly said, "Do you think your dad does this to your mum in bed?" I blame my neurospiciness for fixations in certain situations, but I absolutely ruined the moment. I kicked myself so hard because he just left. We never spoke after that.
Do you know what? That is super bad, but I can relate.
Oh.
I haven't said anything weird like that. No offense. But my brain does that weird associative thing when people tell me things. So like this chain of events just starts happening in my head. I don't know how often that happens.
Are you neurospicy too?
Probably. Aren't we all somewhere? I don't know. I think one thing then just reminds you of something else and then you relate it to something else and then suddenly down the line you just...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think about that.
Just me. Just me.
You. No, I was going to say... Yeah, look, that is an embarrassing moment and that is a one easy way to ruin the mood, but I thought it was going to be way more embarrassing that. I thought you were going to say like he didn't realise his parents had come home and you were macking on and then landed on his dad.
Oh, yeah, that's worse. That's way worse. All right, next story. This is a story about how I outed myself to my mum and she joined my date. Yes, it's as bad like as it sounds.
Something my mum would do.
It does. I was in high school at the time and me and this girl in my drama class had gotten close and started seeing each other.
It's always drama.
That's what I was going to say. English or drama, isn't it?
Yep. And I was in both of them.
Or softball
now
or soccer.
I'm gay as fuck.
For you, it's the subjects at school. For me, it's the sports that we participated in.
Yeah. And you're still participating in.
I am still. We were only about 15 at the time, and because we were scared to show affection at school, most of our lovey-dovey conversations happened over text or MSN. Ooh, MSN.
Fair.
That's like early 2000s. One day, she invited me to go to the local shops to hang out for the day, maybe go to the cinema and see a movie. I told my mum I was just seeing a friend and asked her to drop me off. What I didn't know was that my mum had actually parked and planned to bum around the shops and wait until I was being picked up.
Jeez.
My girl and I decided that yes, we would definitely see a movie. So we bought our tickets and popcorn and into the movie we would go. But you know what it's like as a teenager. The movies are the only dark place you can get to make out where hardly anyone can see you.
Yeah, go there not to watch the movie.
Yeah, you definitely don't go there to watch a movie. How many times did you do that as a teenager?
Not many, actually.
Really?
Maybe 3.
Yeah, it was probably the same.
Not full on.
Did it in a same-sex coupling?
No.
I did it once.
No, I think mine were only boys.
The other one was we would go to Myers and then pretend to try on a shirt and then make out in the change room.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done that.
Some people have lived.
I have.
Okay, back to the story. Well, my plans were foiled. My mum had thought to see the exact same movie and sat in the exact same row. I don't think she could tell it was me until I pulled my lips from my girlfriend's after a pretty decent movie makeout session, until I heard her scream at the top of her lungs to a pretty full theatre, "Georgia, I knew you were a lesbian."
Oh my God.
I was so embarrassed. I couldn't escape the theatre and my mum then tried to reassure me that she was okay because she'd always known I was a lesbian and then obsessed over trying to talk and meet my girlfriend, to which the busy theatre responded with a bunch of shh. I'll never live that day down. What were the odds of all of those things? My mum ended up buying us lunch after the movie and actually getting to know my girlfriend. She was devastated when we broke up like a year later.
Oh, that's sad. But that is really embarrassing.
It is really... Imagine having someone scream in front of a bunch of people, I knew you were a lesbian.
Yeah, just outed you to that whole theatre.
What if you weren't sure? What if you're bi?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also like, is that just like a fad thing? The mum's like, oh my God, 2 dildos now.
Yeah, maybe. I honestly thought you just said 2 dildos now.
I mean, fitting. Well, I am ready for bed or whatever time someone is listening.
Yeah.
to
Hello,
this.
Joy listeners, if you're listening on Joy.
Hello.
Hello, streaming listeners, if you're listening on streaming services. Hello, YouTubers.
Well, yeah, YouTube. I always forget about YouTube.
Yeah. Our views on YouTube are going up. It's
They
good.
are. They're
It's
going
good.
up. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's funky over there.
Now we're just filling time because
We
it's
are.
not a long time.
No, but we're going to end on this episode now.
Episode?
That's not right. Okay, we're going to end on this one tonight because it's a feel-good story.
I love a feel-good story.
Me too. Although it kind of doesn't go with our embarrassing moment theme.
Oh, trust me, there's an embarrassing moment in there.
Oh, okay.
I know this because I picked them and
Yeah,
I've read
you
them.
wrote it. Let me go for this. I do have one story after we finish this that's on my phone that I guess kind of goes hand in hand with worse for state
yeah,
and
you found one.
embarrassing stuff. All right.
Okay. Well, do this one and then share your story.
Sure. Hi, Lauren and Jess.
Oh, look, they put your name first.
Oh, yay. I didn't even notice that. Yay. I love your listener episodes and I'm so excited to be contributing my own story.
Yay, we love you contributing too.
I was meeting up with a grinder date.
Did you get to that and you were like, hang on a minute, this
Yeah,
is
'cause
serious
I-
now?
No, I read it as girlfriend date.
Oh.
And I was like, that's not right.
That's not what it said.
I was meeting up with a grinder date. I'm sure so many of your listener stories start like this.
A fair few.
Yeah.
And you know, we have to try and space them out because otherwise, if I just put them in a lump, it would be like
Grindr.
on Grindr,
On
on
Grindr,
Grindr,
on
on
Grindr.
Grindr, or the other side is on Tinder, on Tinder.
Is Tinder
on
like
Tinder.
the lesbian grinder?
No.
I'd say no because that's how we met.
Yeah, but I would say.
Is there a lesbian grinder?
Yeah, did you ever get ads on Instagram for like she?
No.
Called like she.
No. I had her, but I didn't have.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm
She.
thinking of.
Nah, her is like a dating app.
So is Grindr.
Yeah, but Grindr's like where the hookups go.
Yeah, but you can hook up on any dating app.
I know. That's where we started.
Anyway, let's
we're
look
going-
at it.
It's random arguments happening. I was meeting up with a Grindr date. I'm sure so many of your listeners' stories start like this.
Short answer, yes, they do.
I met up with a Grindr date for the first time after talking for about 2 months and him dodging meeting up with me multiple times, even though we didn't live very far apart at all. My friends all thought he was catfishing me and I started to get suspicious too, except that eventually he did start to FaceTime with me and seemed to be a real person. Hence why I ended up going on this date.
Real persons are good.
Well, it's good when they FaceTime you. If they don't FaceTime you, because we've seen like 1,001 catfish episodes, then you're like, dodgy as hell.
Also, the last season of Catfish that's on at the moment has like 90 episodes.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's like 10 seasons in a season. Anyway,
Neve, what are you out here
I
doing?
digress.
He had prefaced us meeting, though, by saying he didn't want me to think differently of him when we met in person. That's what they all say when they have something
To hide.
to hide, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea what to think when he said this, so in good faith, I just told him I'd accept him however he came and that I really wanted to meet. On the night the date was happening, I was so nervous. I had tried on a million outfits and settled on wearing a brand new pair of plaid pants that I had just bought. I had also bought a brand new pair of shoes because my old shoes had no tread left on them. But in a fit of anxiety, thinking I was running late, accidentally just threw on my old shoes. Oh, that's right. They help you escape faster if you need to.
No, but pay attention.
Oh, okay.
Their old shoes had no tread on them.
Oh, right. Okay.
Are you seeing the accident that's coming?
Yeah. When I met my date at the restaurant we'd chosen, I knew why he didn't want judgment. He walked in with a walking stick. Thinking it was so silly of him to think I would judge him, I gave him a big kiss on the cheek and hugged him tight and reassured him that he had nothing to worry about.
That's cute.
That was cute. The guy I had gotten to know over the last 2 months was a great guy and that I wanted to continue to get to know him. We had a great dinner and it was the most perfect evening. Aww. As we were leaving the restaurant and strolling down the street, it had started to pour rain. Oh no, not the rain.
Yep.
And as I tried to make a dash for cover, the non-existent tread on my shoes gave way and I was flat on my back on the pavement. If you were going to want it to be flat on your back, there was a different way to go.
I'm sure he did want to end that way, but not in this way.
I felt really winded and felt pure agony in my leg. I had landed in the most mangled way and broken my leg. Oh my God, Jesus.
Broke his leg on a first date.
At least your dude had a walking stick.
Literally, but not for the reason you think. Not for the reason you think.
Okay. I'm jumping ahead here. My date called an ambulance and in the meantime had tried to use his walking stick as a splint for my leg. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As a splint for my leg, tying it to me with his cardigan. When the ambulance got there, they told me how lucky I was that my date was a quick thinker and carried a splint with him wherever he went.
Quick thinker.
Lucky. They did, however, cut my brand new pants off my body.
The ones you just bought. Me.
We spent the remainder of the date at the hospital and thankfully we are still together and still laugh about this today.
That is
Aww.
cute. See, that's why we were ending on that one.
Yeah, that was wholesome. I'm about to ruin the wholesomeness with some shit.
Before you tell that story though, where they cut his pants off his body, when my mum fell down the driveway and broke her leg.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
She was wearing this pair of thongs that I bought her.
Don't run in thongs, kids.
She wasn't running. Trust me, she wasn't running.
Don't walk in thongs, kids.
These pair of thongs that I bought her that were like the cheapest of cheap thongs, but I got them on special at DFO.
Oh, I thought they were like Kmart ones.
No. I got them on special at DFO and they were like this really nice, like had like a gel thing that went up your foot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was so mad that they used like a big pair of snippers to like cut the thong off
She was
her
more
foot.
Devo of the thongs
She was
going
literally
than
like,
her leg
you could have
broken.
pulled it off my foot.
That's true. What wangs? No, I was going to say like the end of that story reminds me of if there's like musical theatre listeners on our podcast.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah. In Legally Blonde, the musical, that's how Paulette and her hubby get together because she essentially breaks his nose by doing the bend and snap and then they end up in the ER, but they end up still being together. And I was like, oh, cute.
That's cute. Don't you think it's funny how like some of these stories you could completely turn into actual movies?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Or they're literally like movie moments?
Yeah.
All right, you've got a story. We're going to end on Lauren's story she found.
I do. I found this one and I should have read this before the wholesome one, but that's okay. I'm going to start with a title just to give you a little precursor to this story. Okay. She broke my toilet tank.
Like the actual whole toilet?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I once brought a first date home to my tiny apartment that had one bathroom.
That's not that tiny. Isn't that just normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
We tiptoed around trying not to wake my roommate and then my date excused herself to go to the bathroom. Seconds later, there was a huge crash and a wave of water comes flying out from under the door.
Jesus.
I ran over and my date opened the door to reveal that the toilet tank somehow cracked and broke completely in half. The carpets were destroyed and we had to pee in the shower until the plumber and the new toilet could arrive the next day.
Oh my God. Just quickly, I don't know how many people have seen Colin from Accounts.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a part in that where she stays over his place and the toilet won't flush and she's done a number 2. So she picks it up and throws it out the toilet window and then he thinks that the dog has gone for a poo because he sees her poo out the window.
And he picks it up.
So yeah, he picks it up and puts it in the bin.
Yuck.
Oh my God.
We're finishing on a poo story.
We're finishing up because we need to go to bed. If you can't tell by the absolute deliriousness.
Chaos.
Yeah, the chaos of this
is
episode.
happening.
Well, to sum everything up, everyone, thank you for listening.
Thank you for contributing your fabulous, embarrassing stories.
Yes, thank you to everybody who has written in. Please continue to write in. justgaystuffpodcast@gmail.com is where you need to send your stories. We
Our
love hearing
inbox
them.
is always open.
Just a recap on the Patreon, if you do want to donate to Just Gay Stuff Podcast and keep us going and keep us continuing, we have no plans to cease production.
No.
But if you do want to contribute, it's 100% so appreciated. We will put the links in the show notes for everybody.
And that's the $5 or $10 for the people watching me and listening to me.
Or sign up for free. Sign up for free. I think what we are going to do eventually is once a month draw a name out and you can win something.
Yeah.
Like we'll do that because that's the other thing.
We will get some merch stuff going.
We have briefly spoken about merch and people have asked us about shirts and all that other stuff. So we will eventually get there, but it has never been our priority. Telling your stories has
Always
been
have
our
been.
priority. So
I think that's it from us for this one.
yep. So I guess until next week.
You better remember to stay gay, motherfuckers!
I'm talking about, you're talking about, we're talking about just gay stuff.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Just Gay Stuff. Make sure to follow us at Just Gay Stuff Podcast on all your socials and write to us with your stories at justgaystuffpodcast